get there. I'm like sitting there and self-assessing and going over all these situations in my head, and I just felt differently about it. And as a lot of the weight shifted and a lot of the kind of heaviness surrounding those situations changed, I just felt like the tonality was different for the record, and as relevant as it was then regarding how it felt, I just felt so many other things in that period of my life. And I felt so many different emotions and so many different pulls, and I just didn't get the opportunity to encapsulate that in me and my absent mind. And I just felt like then there was a whole bunch more I had to say. And don't get me wrong, some of the original writing, because it's so still relevant to the whole kind of story, I brought into me and my absent mind again. But the reason I wanted to kind of do a different angle on it is so that I could just bring in all this different tonality and this emotion and just like a whole bunch of other stuff that I went through into the concept, so that people could experience that too, I guess. Unless that sounds all too like nothingness and poetic, and in which case, I don't know. But that's what it is. That's like literally what it is. It's impossible to talk about any of this without sounding like, yeah, like I've pre-planned what I'm saying, or like, but it genuinely is. That's what it is. Everything I'm putting out is it's like a safe space for me. Like the reason I'm writing in general, all of it is like a safe space. You know, I feel like my personality and my outlook on life and my attitude doesn't correlate with my persona as a writer, you know, my identity as a writer. And I feel like a lot of people find it contradicting when they meet me, and like I wake up grateful and happy every single day. I have like such a good perspective and a gratitude for my life, and I'm so happy that I'm here. And I feel like all the things that I went through in my life that fucked me up, like they like made me so grateful. Like every day, like truly like core, like rooted every day. I wake up happy, like I don't put it on. Like I wake up alone every single morning, and I'm so grateful for my life, and I love it. And but it doesn't mean like deep down I'm not like still going through like a whole bunch of stuff that I'll be processing and dealing with for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean? But on the surface, like it's a core thing. Like I'm genuinely happy and I'm genuinely grateful, and I feel like I owe all of that to my writing and my ability to like to be able to put how I feel like into words enough to be able to just get it out of me and put it somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? And I'm never trying to exert. I'm never trying to like put any of my heaviness onto anyone else that's listening or anything like that. And even if no one listened in the whole fucking time I was writing, it wouldn't make any difference in a negative sense, because I'd still wake up every day like happy to be alive and remember like that those things weren't going to define me or like become me. Do you know what I mean? And they sure as hell weren't going to take me. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. Like that's the main thing. Like from whether I was writing back from fucking Nevermore, or I'm still writing if I'm here in another 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Whatever I'm on there, it's no different to someone like writing in a diary, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just I just have this space that I've managed to create where I can just genuinely put how I feel like every single day. Like I can just put it out, and like solely to keep me here. And if anyone, it like then it plays into that cliche that if anyone listens and they can find some safety in that situation and know that they're not alone, at least they can trust that from me. Do you know what I mean? Like at least they know it's honest, and at least they know that the stuff that I was writing about was like a real thing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm fucking talking shit, I'm rambling, man, but I'm gonna hit it and then we're gonna give it.
Yeah, we're 16
And how do we know about the oh, okay, cool. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Alright boys, we're going in. truth is I was never there. I wrote for months in my head about how I disappeared. I finally made it to your house where all the walls were barren. How I couldn't find a single thing to prove we ever happened. I wrote for days, I was sure I could bring you back to me. Sat alone in your house with them coming after me. The door started to shake and I heard lightning. They danced on the ceiling down to the floor where I sat writing. I never meant to try to forget you. Now that I think about us. I read every comment. Thank you. I love you. Oh, we fucking did it, boys! Oh shit! I was in tears, man. That really fucked me up, man. Reading all that shit. People were crazy for it, Cub, weren't they?
Do you know what got the biggest reaction?
Was
was
the mind thing, because people were like talking about, like when the cross-referencing came in, so many people were going, oh yeah, like the reuse of lyrics or the cross-referencing, oh this album's like, it just shows how intently they were listening to the last record, and I was fucking so overwhelmed, man, honestly. Yeah. I was watching it, and every bam, 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 and every time I knew what was coming, and I knew how we had anticipated the next part of the record coming in, and I just sat there thinking, it's coming in, and Slides dropped after, like, True came in and everyone was vibing on True, and then Slides came in and suddenly everyone was like, I'm crying. I was like, I'm crying, and I'm looking at them just thinking, fuck, man, like, it's a weird thing, but I felt connected, man. I felt connected with them, and it was coming in, every time it was coming in with the next bit, I was like mad with anticipation. I kept wanting to grab your leg. I was like, shit, I know what's going on. And, every single bit that all those little tiny extra things that we thought about, and the whole, it just
makes all the difference, doesn't it?
They acted exactly how everyone noticed, and they were like, oh shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that was amazing, mate. And it sounds cool, man. Like, it every time I listen to it, I'm like more excited by it and more proud of us and more impressed with what we've done. And like, when I was listening to it through then, and I was watching those people listen for the first time, and like seeing how much they care, and like seeing how important it was to them, it just all of a sudden, like, I felt like, I don't know, I was like, sense. It meant, it meant every single day that we wrote, and it just wasn't working out, and every late night and every fucking week that we're not getting paid any money, and all the exhaustion for like months it just was too much, and seeing them give a shit about it, I was like, cool, it just, I don't know, it really made it, man. If they were the only people that were going to listen to the record, it couldn't have gone any better, so I'm flipping gassed.
Yeah.
We should be proud.
Well done. Definitely, mate.
It's so that anyone listening, as much as they want to or not, I'm giving the listener, the viewer, the best chance of resonating with my music and being able to feel sanctuary in their situation and feel like someone's going through what they're going through. Not because I found it difficult to wake up that day and brush my teeth, not because I thought it was a struggle to get out of bed in the morning and walk outside, because maybe I didn't, but it doesn't mean that something I was going through didn't affect me in the same way. And you don't connect on the circumstance, but you connect on the difficulty. And I think that's why I'm always trying to write and put my writing out there in that sense, because I want people to understand that it's not anything to do with the music or the instrumentation or anything like that. It's simply that the overall poignancy or the message or whatever behind what I'm doing is just to connect with someone and make sure they feel like, no matter how far away they are or segregated from me that they are, that someone else is going through exactly the same thing that they are, even if the circumstance is completely different, you know? It's simply that you're not alone in that situation. And that, obviously, as much of a cliche as it is, comes from me finding that safety in music or writing or whatever when I needed that, and when I was going through that, and when shit was like that for me. It's the same thing that I turned to then, and it's the same thing I turn to now. It's the knowing that you're not alone in the situation. That's plenty enough sometimes to just get you through it, even if you have no connection with that person at all. And I don't know. So good, it's at Silent Hill. This is some rare Sullii aarigod footage, man. You wait. People are gonna be.
Yeah, sell this on eBay.
Because that's the only place you can sell this. I never set out to be a musician. I never set out to write music. I'm only so good at, I'm only okay at singing, and I'm only okay at playing guitar and playing piano. And I never ever tried to be any better than that, because it's good enough for me to get my writing out, and that's the only thing that's important to me. And I don't want to waste any more of my time trying to better myself in any places where I don't need to, because the only important thing is that music is a body for what I'm trying to say. A foundation for what I'm trying to say. So I'm never sitting down thinking like, yo, today I want to write a song that sounds like this and it's going to make people feel like this. It's just like, yo, this is what I'm saying, like these are the lyrics, like this is what I'm writing about. How does that feel? Do you know what I'm saying? That like that's why I'm writing the way I am with this record, because honestly, for the first time, some of it I actually want to feel encouraging. Like in some of the record, I want to feel uplifting for the first time in a fucking minute, because, you know, even if like I'm trying to like go through all this shit, like, and I'm trying to deal with this and like process all this, this stuff that I'm writing about, like I'm still here, like I'm still waking up every day and I'm still like breathing through it. And so like I want that album to feel powerful, and I want it to feel massive, and I know that like then when I take it to a live space and I can share it with all the people that are listening, it's going to be this moment where I actually feel like we can be grateful together. And it's like, do you know what I'm saying? Like some gratitude, because I always forget this, and I overwhelm myself with this feeling that, yo, everything you're writing so serious, and it's coming from a serious place, that if I don't embody that seriousness, then I'm going to disrespect the tonality of my work. I'm going to disrespect those negative things. I'm going to disrespect those circumstances, and I'm going to pull away from the weight of that situation. But the truth is I'm not, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay for me to feel good when I wake up in the morning. It's okay for me to feel like, Joe, do you know what, man? Like doesn't matter how much life wants to shake me around like a fucking loose screw in a tin can, I'm still gonna wake up every day and go, oh, thank fuck, like I woke up, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I want it to feel. So I want it to feel like powerful, man. I want it to feel like uplifting, and yeah, like that's why I decided to do the second record, because I just didn't feel like I accomplished that at all, and I hid behind the weight of the situation, and I like stayed behind it and was like, okay, cool, like this was fucked up for me, so like this is how it was, you know. And I kind of stood behind it like timid, and was like, yo, like that's how it is, and like fuck that, because even though it was meant to be like that, like it's just so much more that I don't know. I immediately felt like I lacked the conviction I had, you know, and I wanted to put that across. And sonically, there's really obvious parts of the record that showcase that, you know, like literally I had this idea to take moments in the album, like Never as an example, and flip that, you know. I never felt different to how I heard it. You know, when I put it out, I loved the track, and it was big and distorted, and it felt, you know, I felt entangled in it, and it felt like this as chaotic as it was. And what I was writing about was like, so I questioned everything that was going on in that moment of my writing, you know, in that part of the story. But it never felt that way. And so I thought like doing another, and had another opportunity to rewrite Never into a different space, and you know, Never felt so different when I heard it that I thought maybe I would change the way that I approached it for the new record so people could hear it how I heard it. And it's different, man. It's lucid and it's purple, and it's like feels like I'm like dreaming. It feels like I'm like falling asleep, and like all this weight is just passing over me, man. But when I wrote it the first time, it felt like I was in it trying to battle it off, man. Do you know what I mean? And that's nonsense, man. That's not what your life's meant to be about, man. Like, you're not meant to fight against your trouble. You're meant to use that energy to fight, to stay above it so that it can pass through. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not meant to battle against the bad things. You're meant to accept them because they're going to happen anyway. I finally felt this mental, overwhelming, like, core validation. Like, you know, this, like, thing that, like, I always practice this mindfulness crap, and I always say stuff that I practice, but it's never, like, I never fully, you know, like, I always say, like, yo, your validation has to come from you, like, no one else. Everything else doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, you know? Mm-hmm. I, for the first time, bro, ever had this fucking, like, spiritual thing that, like, no one will get that from listening to this record because it's like, it's my thing. You know, I wrote it about the shit that I went through. And for the first time in all my years of doing this, bro, and let's be real, sacrificing fucking everything for this, like, without any question, like my fucking house, my girlfriend, my potential wife, my money, my jobs, my security. I've got no equity. I've got no nothing. I'm still crashing, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I said to Kay, I've never, ever in my whole life questioned a single thing that I would drop just for this simple thing, not to be a fucking artist or whatever, but simply to have a purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like, to have a purpose and to just my existence alone to be a purpose. And I actually fucking just felt it, bro. Like, literally just felt it. Like, I actually just experienced that, like, this weird mental out-of-body experience of this, like, validation. And like I said, on a linear level, the album is a fucking great album. It's the best thing I've ever done in my whole life. And I wrote down, I said, this album's going to change my life forever. It'll bring me nothing but riches, this record, because I'm rich in gratification and pride and positivity and happiness and all these perspective and all these things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never, ever feel again like I did half an hour before I listened to this, because, bro, for the first time, like, I actually fully, like succeeded. I, like, finally put something out into the world that is just completely and utterly myself, and will just live for, I'm infinite, bro. I'm just infinite now. I'm infinite. And the fucking weirdest thing is, the album is crazy. The album is crazy. The concept, bro. And as you know, the only reason we do this, the only reason we're doing this shit in the first place is because, like, I want my existence to be enough purpose for somebody else to realize that there's an amount of empowerment and like, overcoming in that simply alone. If I'm alive through all the mad shit that's been thrown at me, that enough is enough. Like, that is enough to know that you can get through what you're going through. I just wanted to exist, and that I wanted that to be enough for people to understand. I don't want to write songs on rules to how to overcome your fucking demons. You're not meant to fight them off anyway. You're meant to breathe them in. I just wanted to exist enough for people to realize that. And so this is the best thing I've ever done, the best thing I ever heard, because so, like, truly, deeply, truly, that embodiment actually exists. Like, I actually feel like I exist within whatever this fucking thing is. And then on a linear level, yeah, the album rips. Number one, so good. It's non-stop. It's so good. It's so good. I can't believe that we wrote it. It's so fucking good. Oh my god. Anyway, I just needed to tell you.
Together, when I say it's you, you're more than anything. I'll do anything to lay next to you. I'm still trying to put me back together. When I say it's you're more than anything. I'll do anything to lay next to you. Forget it when I say I'm blue.